possible in parts of the area. Restrictions on area highways, New Jersey Transit suspending operations, the critical information you need to know about getting around during the storm. Plus, long lines at grocery stores and hardware stores as residents rush to get last-minute supplies before the snow starts. Good evening, I'm Alan Devlin. Thank you for joining us here tonight. The monster winter storm that we've been talking about for days is just about here. The first flakes are expected to fall in parts of the tri-state within a few hours. Here's the latest of what we know now. New York and New Jersey and Connecticut are all under a state of emergency because of the storm. In 1 hour, a 35-mile-per-hour speed restriction will go into effect on several New Jersey highways. We've also learned that NJ Transit will suspend operations at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And Mayor Mamdani says a decision on what NYC schools will do on Monday will be made by noon tomorrow. We have team coverage with reporters across the tri-state, but let's begin with meteorologists Vanessa Murdoch and Scott Paget in our virtual studio. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, we're just a few hours away now.
Yeah.
5 a.m. for portions of the area. 7 a.m. is what we're thinking for the city for a start time.
Yeah, and look how big the storm is. We've been talking about it all week long. We knew this would develop, and it is stretching across a set of ports of the country. It is massive out there. Vanessa, seeing the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain, and in some spots to the south, just some rain, but that won't be here for us.
No rain in the city, but we are expecting a messy mix at times. But this will start to snow because we do anticipate this being a significant event and dangerous if you're going to be trying to navigate the roads. First alert weather days for Sunday and Monday. Snow, sleet, as well as dangerous cold that persists for your Sunday. We're looking out for that heavy snow and sleet. Monday, lingering snow showers, frigid both days. Here's what we have right now on the current satellite and radar picture locally. Looks like the snow is already creeping into the Garden State, but what's reaching the surface is what's important. And we're not seeing a whole lot of what is traveling through the midsection of PA, eastern PA, actually reaching the ground just yet. But again, we're not far away. This storm system is big. It is going to make an impact here in the tri-state area. It's making an impact across the country. It's roughly speaking dropping precipitation across 1,500 miles. That's not square miles. That number would be a whole lot bigger. What is the timeline here at home? 4 a.m. through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to watch that snow fill in from southwest to northeast. 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. That's when the snow is heaviest and when it is snow for all of us. But as we move into the afternoon, early evening, we're going to start to see a bit of a transition for the city, points south and east to more of a messy mix. So yes, that's when things start to get a bit more ugly out there. Let's talk more now about what we can expect, right, Scott? Because this storm is going to change this live picture starting tomorrow morning.
Yeah, looks beautiful right now. We saw some sunshine today. That's not going to be the story as we go through tomorrow. So let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. And we're going to be seeing that really increase as we talked about that timeline a bit more for Vanessa. So let's talk about what we can expect now. Because of the snow moving in and then that sleet on top of it, we have a winter storm warning in effect from Sunday about 3 in the morning, so a few hours away from that, until Monday at 6 p.m. That's for all of the tri-state because of the heavy snow and then that mix. So Vanessa was detailing that. Look at this on the ice accumulation. So we're going to get a lot of heavy snow, but we're going to be seeing on top of that maybe some sleet moving in. It looks like the forecast models are showing that happening for us. South and West Hamilton, about 2/10 in the city, near 2/10 of an inch of some ice on top of it down the Jersey Shore as well. So Vanessa, with that in mind, that's tamped down some of the snow totals in some areas for us.
Right, especially, we're looking at Jersey Shore getting slightly lesser numbers now as we are looking at that happening for the southeastern end of Long Island. But Scott, in the city, 8 to 12 and more north.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're going to be seeing snow all day long. That switch over not really happening. 18 to 22 inches in the Hudson Valley.
That's exciting.
That's really exciting. A lot of kids up there, a lot of skiers are going to be happy as well as they're going to be out in it. So we're going to be done with it. And on top of that, the frigid cold sticking around.
I know. So we're going to talk much more about this in our full first alert forecast. For now, Alan, back to you.
You guys are going to be busy for the next couple of days. I can promise you that. Thank you. We'll see you in just a little bit. So right now, New York City is bracing for its biggest snowfall in several years. In just 3 weeks into office, this will be a major test for Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Naomi Ruckham has a look at the city's plan and how New Yorkers are getting ready.
As we await the first signs of snow, sanitation workers are at the ready. More than 2,000 have already started their 12-hour shifts. Once the snow falls, they'll start with the salt, then move on to launching a major plowing operation.
Hours away from what could be the biggest and coldest storm to hit New York in years, Mayor Mamdani says the city is ready.
Make no mistake, New Yorkers, the full power of this city's enormous resources are prepared poised and ready to be deployed.
Mamdani took that message to social media Saturday evening.
My ask to you is to avoid unnecessary travel on Sunday.
More than 700 salt spreaders are prepped to roll out. And once 2 inches of snow accumulates, 2,300 plows will follow, all to cover more than 19,000 miles of roadway. Despite the detailed planning, one major decision is still up in the air. Will there be school on Monday?
We are weighing the safety of everyone involved. We want to make sure that whatever decision we make is one where students, parents, educators will be safe.
Many New Yorkers say they will heed the mayor's call to stay home, but that requires last-minute shopping.
I was just here for last-second odds and ends. Already done most of my shopping a day or two ahead of time.
At the Trader Joe's in Flatiron, this was the scene by Saturday evening. Eggs, milk, bread, and produce entirely picked over.
It's empty. The shelves are pretty much, the fruits are gone, and bread aisle is empty.
We got everything what we needed, but everything else was empty.
And at the wine shop on the corner, the owner has his shovel in hand, facing a tough call many local businesses will have to make.
We will plan to open, but then we gauge the severeness of the storm and we decide whether staff is safe, customers are coming or not, and just make sure we're safe.
Mayor Mamdani says the final decision on New York public schools will come by noon on Sunday. And a reminder that while the city will take care of public roads and public spaces, property owners are responsible for clearing their own sidewalks. On the west side, Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
And the MTA is making final preparations for the arrival of the snow tomorrow. The MTA CEO toured the bus depot in Flatbush. Crews were busy putting chains on buses that needed them and making other last-minute bus inspections to make sure they were good to go. Riders are reminded that there will be schedule adjustments as the snow begins to pile up. Over on Long Island, states of emergency have been declared in both Nassau and Suffolk counties. Officials say the trucks and crews are ready to go and will hit the roads early tomorrow. We spoke with the Hempstead town supervisor.
The challenging part of this storm is that we're getting a significant amount of accumulation of snow immediately into freezing rain, right into it. The trick for this one is we've got to get the plows out there to get the snow off the roads as quickly as possible so that snow doesn't become ice, because once it freezes, it's looking like it's going to stay frozen for quite a while.
In slick, icy roads and whiteout conditions, officials in New Jersey are expecting the worst from this storm. It's why they moved to suspend all New Jersey transit service and are putting a number of statewide restrictions in place. Andrew Ramos has the latest.
Yeah, and Alan, one of those restrictions are going to impact drivers here along the New Jersey Turnpike and other major roadways in the state, where starting at midnight, a 35-mile-per-hour speed restriction is going to go into effect. State leaders here not taking any chances when it comes to this storm.
We are expecting a storm the likes of which we haven't seen in years.
Barely a week into her new job, Governor Mikey Sherrill is going toe-to-toe with a monster of a winter storm.
We're currently expecting 4 to 6 inches of snow along the coast, 6 to 10 inches in South and Central Jersey, and 8 to 14 up in North Jersey.
The grim forecast enough for the governor to suspend all NJ Transit operations for Sunday. The system-wide suspension is going to affect all bus, light rail, and Access Link services beginning at 4 a.m. Sunday. Rail service, however, will proceed on its regular weekend schedule, but will stop at 2 p.m.
Your primary job is to make sure you are watching out for the safety of your customers, your employees.
In addition to suspending NJ Transit service, state police announced speed restrictions of 35 miles per hour on the New Jersey Turnpike, Garden State Parkway, and all interstate highways. A commercial vehicle travel ban also going into place. All restrictions go into effect at midnight.
We strongly encourage you not to be on the roads. If you absolutely positively have to be on the roads, we ask that you proceed with extreme caution.
Despite the warnings, Newark residents like Ahmed Barkley and Timothy Harris say they're going to play it all by ear.
A lot of things are being cut, a lot of things are being closed, so I just want to be prepared. Hopefully I am. I got my Timberland boots.
I know the people of New Jersey are pretty pragmatic. I know you guys got this.
Now, when it comes to when these restrictions will be lifted and New Jersey Transit goes back into service, remains unclear. The governor says she's going to make decisions based on the forecast. Reporting here along the New Jersey Turnpike in Bergen County, Andrew Ramos, CBS News, New York.
And staying in New Jersey here tonight, CBS News New York got a look inside the New Jersey Traffic Management Center in Woodbridge. Employees from the State Police, DOT, and Turnpike Authority will be monitoring hazardous conditions during the storm. Then they watch out for any trouble on the roads like crashes or disabled cars, and they dispatch the proper help. The center anticipates plenty of activity when the snow begins. And parts of Rockland County have declared a snow emergency. Elle McLogan is hearing from neighbors bracing for the storm as crews prepare to work overtime to keep our roads safe.
Good evening from Clarkstown, more than 30 miles north of New York City, where a hub of businesses and shops makes up Rockland's economic engine. Officials say clearing these streets will be essential for keeping the county humming.
It is freezing. Oh, man.
Locals are braving extreme cold before the first flakes fall.
We're just coming to do our last-minute shopping, get some mangoes, get some avocados, because it's going to be a long stretch.
Carmel Sime welcomes the chance to get cozy at home with family.
Gonna bake some brownies later. Watch a movie, hopefully.
Yeah. What kind of movie?
Marvel movies.
Do you have a favorite one?
Favorite one, I'd have to go with Infinity War.
But the potential for power outages has Giselle Gerard anxious. What else do you have to do to make sure you're prepared?
The candle, number one, and to make sure I charge my phone.
Well, this is going to be the largest amount of snow that we've faced probably in 15 or 20 years up here.
Clarkstown Supervisor George Homan says this county of many narrow, winding streets has invested in smaller plows for tight turns.
Our men and women with the Highway Department will be reporting, and they'll be staying straight through. They'll work 16 hours, they'll get a 4-hour break, they'll go back on for another 16, and literally we anticipate that they'll be working probably through until Wednesday.
Nathaniel Fidel hopes things don't clear up too quickly.
Hopefully not, because I have a test on Monday. I don't want to do it.
Lena Hunter says the weather calls for compassion and good judgment.
Let's check on our elderly and all our friends and neighbors, make sure everyone's good. And just try not to be a hero. Like they said, stay off the roads, let's stay off the roads.
And officials are urging drivers across the county to move parked cars off of roads to give plows access from curb to curb. In Clarkstown, I'm Elle McLogan, CBS News, New York.
Several city locations will be closed and some events have been canceled ahead of the storm. The Bronx Zoo, Central Park Zoo, New York Aquarium, and the Museum of the Moving Image will all be closed on Sunday. All New York City libraries will also be closed tomorrow. And the Rangers Alumni Classic at Madison Square Garden has been canceled altogether. The Rangers website says refunds will be issued to the original form of payment. And the New York City Board of Elections has suspended early voting tomorrow and Monday. A special election is being held on February 3rd to fill vacant seats, including Mayor Mamdani's previous seat in Queens. Early voting will resume on Tuesday. And the weather's been making a mess for all of air travel. This is a live look right now here at LaGuardia Airport. According to FlightAware.com, today at LaGuardia, 76 flights were delayed and 117 were canceled. At JFK, there were 190 delayed flights and 129 cancellations, while over at Newark Airport in New Jersey, 166 flights were delayed today and 92 were canceled. The expectation, those numbers will be going up over the next couple of days. But impacts go much further than the tri-state. Snowy weather is making its way all over the country. In Shreveport, Louisiana, salt trucks were out working to keep the roads clear. In Little Rock, Arkansas, it was a slow go for drivers navigating snow-packed roads. And in Oklahoma City, the storm arrived with temperatures well below normal in the single digits. But the big worry is downed trees and power lines. We'll have much more on this storm, including Scott and Vanessa's full forecast later in this newscast. And don't forget, you can get the latest updates on the storm's track on our website, cbsnewyork.com. Still ahead, another person shot and killed by federal agents in Minneapolis. The conflicting accounts about what led to today's violence. One person killed and more than a dozen others injured in a fire and explosion at a Bronx apartment building. What residents are saying about the terrifying incident. Plus this.
He was very friendly, very outgoing, always wanted to have a good time, didn't take things too seriously.
It's been nearly 2 decades since someone killed a Westchester man and still no arrest. Where the investigation stands now, in Cold Case with Alice Gaynor. And here's Steve Overmeyer with a look ahead in sports. Steve.
Yeah, Alan, the Knicks are less than a week removed from a terrible blowout loss, but have you seen what they've been doing since? And a landmark win for Rick Pitino today. What made it more memorable was who it was against. It's later in sports.
Welcome back. In national news, just over 2 weeks after the fatal shooting of Renee Good, another Minneapolis resident has been shot and killed by a federal agent. 37-year-old Alex Preddy was a U.S. citizen and an ICU nurse at a VA hospital. ICE agents say he had a gun and resisted arrest. Lana Zach is in Minneapolis with the video, and we do want to warn you, it may be hard to watch.
Cell phone video shows the moments leading up to the shooting. A federal agent pushes a person to the ground and pepper sprays them. Then more officers converge and wrestle a man to the ground, appearing to hit him before at least one agent opens fire and kills the man. The backlash was swift. Law enforcement officers used pepper balls and flashbangs against protesters gathered at the scene.
I didn't know him.
Ella Brettenfeld was among the protesters.
The system isn't working. It's killing people in our streets. It's killing our neighbors. It's injuring people. It's traumatizing children.
An outraged Governor Tim Walz said the federal government cannot be trusted to lead this investigation.
Thank God we have video, because according to DHS, these 7 heroic guys took an onslaught of a battalion against them or something. It's nonsense, people. It is nonsense, and it's lies.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem claimed, without offering evidence, that the victim was responsible for the confrontation.
He wasn't there to peacefully protest. He was there to perpetuate violence.
The Department of Homeland Security claims the man approached officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and violently resisted arrest. CBS News has identified the man as 37-year-old Alex Preddy, a Minneapolis resident and an American citizen. Minneapolis police say he had a valid permit to carry a gun.
This is just the latest in a string of incidents that have sparked outrage and intense scrutiny into federal tactics, including the detention of at least 2 young children. And much like the case of Renee Good, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension say they are being blocked from this investigation. Lana Zach, CBS News, Minneapolis.
For the latest on the shooting in Minnesota, plus reaction from here in New York, go to our website, cbsnewyork.com. You can also download the CBS News app. In other news here, 1 person is dead and more than a dozen people are injured after a building explosion in the Bronx. The explosion happened early this morning in a high-rise in the Eastchester section. Flames could be seen on the 15th through the 17th floors of the building, with firefighters were reportedly there investigating reports of a gas odor. The explosion set off multiple fires.
Flames coming down, like something was just, like fire was just falling from the sky.
And there was people on the roof saying, like, help us, like there's a fire, like we can't get down.
Terrifying there. The Red Cross is helping about 300 displaced residents, including 89 children. Meanwhile, the exact cause of that explosion is under investigation. Building management released a statement to CBS News New York saying, in part, this is a tragic incident and our thoughts are with everyone at the property, including residents and emergency response personnel who have been affected. We are actively gathering the necessary information to determine the cause of this incident. All right, now we're going to get back over to the winter storm that's just about to hit us. The clock is ticking down to when it will be at our doors. Meteorologist Vanessa Murdoch is here now with our first alert forecast. Vanessa, time will tell how bad this one's going to be.
Well, listen, we're banking on 8 to 12 inches through the city, through much of the island, midsection of Jersey, and then well to the north, some bigger numbers than that. We'll show you that snowfall map shortly. But right now, how about a live look outside? From high atop the Empire State Building, skies mainly clear, just a few clouds in play. It's 15. The real feel in the city, 15. But I have to tell you, sometimes in the park, the winds do not quite reach the anemometer. So we do have more significant wind chills across the region. Temperatures are cooler elsewhere. It's 9 in Woodbury right now, 17 for Toms River, 14 in Bayshore. The real feels, how about -1 in Woodbury? On the plus side at 1 in the Hamptons, feels like 3 right now in Trenton. What can you expect moving forward? We showed you the stage has been set, right? It's cold enough for that snow to stick upon hitting the surface. So this winter storm is knocking on our door for sure. It will be snow for all to start, and then sleet and ice will mix in for many, not for all. There could be near blizzard conditions at times. That is a possibility with the winds kicking up through the day tomorrow, blowing. Falling snow reduces visibility to a quarter of a mile or less. That would mean blizzard conditions. And then Arctic air is in place through early February. This isn't short-lived, folks. This is a long stretch of incredible cold. Now, right now, we know it's cold outside, and we see on the satellite and radar picture the snow's trying to get to us, trying to fall in PA. Looks like it is, but much of this is not reaching the surface. Nearest reporting site that we're seeing snow falling is in Washington, D.C., and so we are just hours away from the start here at home. Storm system is massive. We know that. It's already putting down some numbers elsewhere. 2 low pressure systems, one coming out of the Gulf, another one forming just off of the Carolina coastline, will be sweeping up in the northeasterly direction. By Monday, they are one area of low pressure system pulling out to sea and leaving us with some precipitation behind. Of course, elsewhere, how about in Kansas? They've already picked up 8 inches of snow, and the ice as well has been a problem. We're going to look at one more set of numbers here. Shreveport, Louisiana, 3/4 of an inch of ice. So the storm is problematic. We expect that to be some challenge here at home as well. Let's check in with Scott Padgett. He has a closer look at the timing and the totals locally. Scott.
Hey there, Vanessa. Yeah, so what has been different that you and I have been talking about as we've gone through the day today is the introduction of some sleet into our forecast. Let's take a look at the timeline. So snow moves in overnight, light to moderate snow between 3 to 7, then between about 7 to 2. That snow becomes very heavy. Snowfall rate of 1 to 2 inches of snow per hour for a lot of us here in the tri-state. As we advance that on, you can see all snow to the north then through the afternoon to then the evening hours, but mixing then develops in the afternoon hours for the city and then south and east. It's sleet. Will we see freezing rain? I think mainly a sleet story for us as we see that mixing moving in, and then it changes back to snow, decreasing intensity on an icy road sticking around then late on Sunday into Monday. All right, let's go into pop up a box here next to me to show you exactly what's going on as far as those 2 areas of low pressure that Vanessa we're talking about. So they will continue to converge, and here you can see the snow coming together by tomorrow morning 6 to then here we are at 11, the pockets of some heavier snow. But as that low pressure gets closer, you see that switch over happening for us down the Jersey Shore, in the city, south end as well for us, and then seeing that all through South Shore and the east end, I should say, that low pressure, and then a lot of rain down the coast even more. So how much snow are we talking about? The graph is saying about 11.9 inches, 18.7 in Newburgh. We're going 8 to 12 in the city. Down the Jersey Shore, though, 4 to 9. North and west, Passaic, Bergen, about 12 to 18, then 18 to 22 further to the north and the west. How much ice possibly in Central Park? The sleet and ice, maybe about 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch, or a little bit higher in some spots. But Vanessa, it is the cold air in place. Any snow that falls on the ice that's sticking around, it's going to be hard for us to then clean up as we go through next week.
Yeah, it certainly is, because the temperatures are going to be frigid. Here's a look at your First Alert 7-day forecast. 20s for the long haul. In fact, we anticipate this being the coldest stretch since January of 2018. On your Sunday, 26 degrees feels like the teens as that snow, sleet falls. Monday, 28, snow showers are lingering. And then as we roll into Tuesday morning, my goodness, likely the coldest air of the season yet. And we just stay stuck in the freezer into early February. Alan, back to you.
So, in other words, it's a good time to just stay inside.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great plan.
Thank you, Vanessa and
Okay.
Scott. We'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, still ahead while the tri-state gets ready to weather the storm. Players and fans had to endure extreme temperatures at the Australian Open. Steve is next with sports.
This is CBS Sports New York, sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Steve Overmeyer joins us now here with sports. Steve, a big question a lot of people, including myself and probably Vanessa, are asking is what is going on with the Knicks, man?
You know, hopefully this is the week that we are seeing the turnaround with this team, because sometimes the game that changes a team's direction isn't a game they won, it's one they didn't. And after a blowout loss this week, the Knicks boos raining down from the Garden crowd, it was pretty much a wake-up call for this team, because a season can't turn around in one game, but it could be a great start. So they're trying to win back-to-back games for the first time in nearly a month, and they looked well on their way because they outscored Philly by 17 in the third. And then Landry Shamet makes it an 8-point game with just 41 seconds left. But that final minute of the game took 18 minutes of real time because all the coaches' challenges and the overturned plays. Their lead is down to 3 here. Jalen Brunson had a pair of free throws, missed them both. Sixers got a chance to force overtime with a 3. But that pass is intercepted. Knicks hang on to win 112-109. 900 wins. That's how many Rick Pitino has racked up in his career. But it's more than that. It's 50 years of bus rides, practices that never end, and generations of players who have borrowed his smarts. Today, Rick Pitino hit that milestone, and his opponent was a man who knows all of that sacrifice all too well. His son, Richard Pitino, is the coach at Xavier, and they had a 16-point lead before St. John's mounted a comeback. That darling layup gave the Red Storm a 2-point lead. Didn't last long, though, because Xavier's Philip Boroviciani with a and 1, and he hits the free throw. Musketeers now up by 1. But it was Darling again, a 3 to give St. John's the lead for good this time. 88-83, win number 900. That makes it 4th most in NCAA history. Been a rough couple of weeks for Seton Hall after starting the season at 14-2. Look on Shaheen Holloway's face, kind of says it all. They've lost 4 straight since climbing into the top 25, and all of those losses from in conference. They end up losing to DePaul by 7 as the loss drops them to 5th place in the Big East standings. Isles fans braving the cold to see their team facing off against the Sabres at UBS. Wasn't really worth the trip because Jason Zucker scores 2 goals for Buffalo. The Isles end up getting shut out 5-0. And at the Australian Open, the sun didn't just show up. It took over. Play had to be stopped because temperatures reached 106 degrees Fahrenheit. Officials needed to protect the players from this extreme heat. 2-time defending champion Jannik Sinner was about to lose to American Elliot Spitzeree when play was stopped. And then after the break, Sinner came back to win. And in this tournament, I tell you, maybe the toughest opponent might not be the one across the net from you, but the one overhead. And that's something they're certainly fighting right now, which it's summertime in Australia right now.
I was going to say Mother Nature stepped in there. 100 degrees warmer there than
nice to
what we've got here.
That right now?
106? I don't know. I might stick with the cold.
Get air conditioning. That's okay, too.
Air conditioning on the court. Thank you, Steve. Still ahead, it's a case that's perplexed investigators for nearly 2 decades.
I know people know something. I know that people, through our interviewing process, who really weren't forthcoming.
A Westchester man brutally attacked back in 2007. The murder weapon never found. The killer still at large. Up next, cold case. Who killed Stephen Spina? In 2007, a man was stabbed to death in his own home. The murder weapon was never found, and nearly 2 decades later, and still, no one has been arrested for the murder. But tonight, for the first time, we're learning more about possible suspects. This is Cold Case with Alice Gaynor, who killed Steven Spina.
From Steven Spina's entrance into the world and other moments in between,
he's just been a headline since he was born.
And never more widely so than in death.
The murder remains a mystery in Westchester County.
Spina was stabbed to death at his Mamaroneck apartment.
I can't understand who would do this to him.
His private life was very private. As much as they knew, there was a lot they didn't know.
It's been 18 years. It's insane.
Skylar Radcliffe Spina sits on a bench dedicated to her father, Steven Spina, overlooking the ball fields where he coached, umpired, and played in Mamaroneck.
So he was very much in love with baseball?
Yes, very much.
He was also very much in love with being a father.
He was just very much about me.
Though Skylar's parents were not together, she sometimes stayed at her dad's.
There wasn't a day I did not see him. He came to my mom's house after work, helped me with homework.
The last time she saw him, September 16th, 2007.
Oh, we just went to church. Gave me a hug and said he'll see me tomorrow.
The next day, September 17th, Skylar, then 12 years old, and her father had plans to go to a Yankees game. Instead,
Monday afternoon, a friend found Spina stabbed to death at Spina's co-op in Mamaroneck.
her mother broke the news to her that her 36-year-old father had been killed.
I screamed so loud my poor grandmother came flying up the stairs because she didn't know yet either.
300 Rich Bell Road.
Yep. So this is where Steven lived. This is his apartment.
David Castorella was the lead detective on the case.
Everything's relevant.
Now retired from the Village of Mamaroneck Police Department, he was also friends with Steven and responded to the call that came in for a DOA, or dead on arrival.
I just see Steven's laying on the floor.
Spina was off from work that day and had plans to have lunch with his girlfriend Tamara. That morning, Castorella says a neighbor spotted him outside.
She saw him about 9:30 in the morning or so, come down the stairs and walk out. We don't have anything on his phone. We don't know how long he was out for. A theory is that, okay, who does he come out and see? Did he come out and have a conversation with somebody and that didn't go so well? And he goes back in, the person comes back in with him and knocks on the door.
Around lunchtime, Tamara couldn't get a hold of him.
Well, from what she tells us is she came in, she goes in through this door, gets upstairs, the door is locked, she's banging on the door, he won't open it. They're supposed to have a lunch date. She comes back out, she finds a super in the area, and they come back and the super opens the door, and she sees him laying down on the floor. Evidence in the scene kind of depicts that that's kind of what happened, that he got kind of attacked at the door. There were some bloody footprints in the kitchen.
What state was his body in? Did he have defensive wounds?
A lot of defensive wounds, a lot of wounds on the left side of the body, which kind of would tell you that the attacker was right-handed. He was stabbed multiple times. It's an excessive amount.
Was anything taken from the apartment?
Doesn't appear anything was taken. There was no signs of forced entry. It looks like Steven opened the door for whoever it may have been.
Spina worked as a mail carrier in Larchmont. Richard Shrapek was a colleague.
And then we became friends, and Steve was one of the guys that accompanied me on many of my baseball and football trips that we've had together. He was quite like me in that I didn't go to a city to just go to the game. I wanted to experience the city. So if we went to St. Louis, we went to the Arch. We went to Detroit. We went to the Henry Ford Museum. He was very friendly, very outgoing, always wanted to have a good time, didn't take things too seriously.
Shrapek says the last time he spoke to Spina was the night before the murder.
I was at a Bears game. Steve got a kick out of the Bears fight song, so I called him and held my phone up to the speakers as close as I could to get the sound. And I said, "There's your song," and we were laughing and joking about it.
The next day, Shrapek would receive a call from another colleague. Immediately, he thought maybe Spina was accidentally killed outside while delivering mail.
Who would want to hurt him?
No idea. No idea.
Did he have any enemies at work or anyone you knew about?
Not that I knew about. He was loved by everybody.
But Spina was involved in a dispute with a village public works employee who he suspected of slashing his car tires a few weeks prior.
The one guy thought that Stephen was trying to pick up his girlfriend because he saw her and talked to her.
Castorella says Spina came to see him at his house and he told him to file a police report.
He never gave me the full story either, and I don't think he gave the police department the full story. He went and reported it and then kind of let it go. And there were other things going on with Stephen at the time.
Other things that didn't come to light until the investigation into his murder. Stephen's girlfriend's car had been vandalized more than once, threatening notes left behind. But the couple never reported it.
Poured acid on it of some sort that damaged the paint pretty good.
But he believes the tire slashing and her car vandalism are unrelated. Castorella explains Spina and his girlfriend Tamara were off and on, that Spina was a ladies' man and dated around.
This happened to be a really good time for them, though. They were doing well, which is why probably the notes were put there, because he probably wasn't talking to these other people now.
Shrapek says while he didn't get overly personal with Spina,
I told him a couple times that he was kind of immature about the way he went about things and treated people. He didn't really care, you know. I'm having a good time.
Are you talking about dating?
Dating, yeah. Just having a good time. So.
His car damaged by someone completely different, it seems. Her car damaged by somebody else. He ends up dead. What are your theories?
Possible main theory is that one person, you know, one of the girls or whatever had somebody come here and help, because I don't think a female could do what was done to him alone. It's not impossible, but I think there would have been more of a struggle than they showed.
How many people do you think are involved?
I think at least two. One of our people that we looked into has moved to Jamaica recently, from what I was told.
That person, he says, was a woman Spina met along his mail route.
Police believe someone was very angry at Stephen Spina.
CBS News New York reporter Tony Aiello covered the case.
One of the first things we do as reporters is look for surveillance video because it helps in telling the story. There's so many people who live in this neighborhood and so few cameras. So I think right away we got the feeling that this one might be difficult for the police.
A lack of physical evidence means information people may be holding on to is critical.
I know people know something. I know that people through our interviewing process who really weren't forthcoming while we talked to them, who were friends with some of the suspects.
Castorella thinks of his friend often.
I drive by here all the time and say to him, give me something. Just give me something one day. Just, you know, I don't know. We're both pretty religious guys.
Skylar, now 30 years old, is thinking of publishing a book of poetry her father wrote. She has tattoos that remind her of him, and also has a child of her own now.
He's got a big smile like my dad. A lot of his facial expressions he makes are my dad. And he was the best dad, so he would have been an even better grandpa. And he wanted a boy so bad. So now to have a grandson that he can't play with and do all the things with sucks.
From that day forward, you know, how did you change as a person? How did your life change?
It's very safe here, but it's a very unsafe feeling, like for me now. So after that, like growing up, I just didn't feel safe ever.
But she says she's not letting what happened to him define who she is.
At my job, I'm a CNA, so I take care of people, and all of them say like, oh, like you're always so happy, you're always smiling. And that's how my dad was, so I try to be a lot like him.
Old enough to know the details of the case now, she's taken over for the family and has this plea.
If anyone knows, there's tip lines. You can comment anonymously. No one has to know. You know.
Village police declined an interview, citing an active investigation. We also reached out to Spina's then-girlfriend Tamara, but never heard back. Police did say she cooperated for months. If you know anything, call police. Alice Gaynor, CBS News, New York.
And if you have any information that may be helpful to authorities, here are some of those numbers you can call right here. For the Village of Mamaroneck Police, call 914-825-8760. For New York State Crime Stoppers, call 1-866-313-TIPS. That's 8477. And still ahead, we'll get one more check of the forecast, plus a look at the growing impact on air travel due to this weekend's monster winter storm. We'll be right back. The clock is ticking. We are just hours away from the start of this powerful winter storm. And while the tri-state area has been preparing for days, the message from officials is clear. Take these warnings seriously.
We are expecting a storm the likes of which we haven't seen in years.
Make no mistake, New Yorkers. The full power of this city's enormous resources are prepared, poised, and ready to be deployed.
Some important things to know for tonight. A state of emergency is in effect in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. Mayor Mamdani says a decision will be made by noon tomorrow. Schools will be in session on Monday. The Passaic Public School District in New Jersey has already canceled class. Speed restrictions on the Turnpike Parkway and all New Jersey highways begin in just a few minutes. And NJ Transit will halt all service at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Let's now get another look at our first alert forecast, a closer look at this storm here. Meteorologist Scott Padgett back in the studio with us with the details on this one, Scott.
It's a cold one. It was cold right out as you were out and about for today. So what's interesting is if we take a look at where we're sitting right now, it is 15 in Central Park, barely any cloud cover being reported right down the park. Variable winds at 3, but I want to point out the dew point, that's the measure of the moisture in the atmosphere. It's 10, it's like -10. So with that in mind, we have really dry air in place, so the storm's going to have to overcome that, and it will do so. We're at 4 right now in Kingston, 11 Katona to 15 in the city, as well as Colts Neck to 14 in Huntington. When you factor in the winds, though, it does feel colder than that. It feels like 4 below in Katona to 5 below in Kingston to 5 right now in Cresskill, East End, 1 above. So yeah, it is a cold night tonight. Now looking at the radar with you across parts of the tri-state, we're dry right now, and this little bit of snow that's showing up on the radar really not reaching the surface yet because of that column of moisture in the atmosphere. Still pretty dry for us, but that will be changing as the system moves in. And as we widen out the view, it is a large storm all the way through parts of the Ohio River Valley, down through parts of Kentucky, Tennessee. That switch over from snow to freezing rain and sleet, stretching all the way back through parts of Arkansas into Oklahoma, stretching their way back into Texas, even into parts of New Mexico. So a number of winter weather alerts in place. Look at this, stretching all the way from the Mexico border to the Canadian border. More than 30 states, maybe more than 40 states under some type of winter weather alert. Winter storm warnings, the pink color, and that does include us here in the tri-state. It goes into effect at 3 o'clock in the morning and remains in effect till 6 p.m. on Monday. Reason is we're going to be dealing with the heavy snow working its way on in through the overnight time frame. By the time a lot of us are waking up, we're seeing that snow falling for us and then increasing in intensity as we go through the late morning hours. So we'll see that accumulation happening for us. And then we're going to be seeing a mix of some snow and some sleet. Further south in the east you go, and possibly also in the city. And bringing in Vanessa now, meteorologist Vanessa Murdoch. You know, Vanessa, everyone wants to know, how much are we going to see? Where's it going to be? What does that mean for me as I try to get around?
All right. Well, for anybody trying to get around through the midday tomorrow, I think it is incredibly challenging. That will stay the course through early on Monday at the very earliest. 4 to 9 inches. Scott discussed the mixing in of sleet and some freezing rain. That's going to tap down the totals for the Jersey Shore as well as the southeastern end of Long Island. 4 to 9 inches there. If we look to the far northern reaches of the viewing area, we're talking Catskills, Sullivan, Ulster, Dutchess, northern portions of Orange County as well as Sussex County. How about 18 to 22 inches there? In the pink, you get 12 to 18. That's much of Morris County, Passaic, northwestern Bergen, Rockland, Westchester, as well as Fairfield. And then, of course, 8 to 12 for the city, much of the island through the midsection of, yes, the Garden State as well. So we're going to see a very wide swath of variable snow totals tomorrow. But this 8 to 12 is where I want to focus in. That's the total possible in the park. So when we talk about this, is this going to be the biggest snowfall of quite some time? First and foremost, there's the potential with this system that we're going to double our snowfall so far this season, which stands at 9.7. Now, anything 8 and above means, it's been a while, but not that long. Last time we got 6 inches or more was back in 2022. The last time we got 12 inches or more, well, that was back in 21. So let's take a closer look at this system as we make our way overnight. It is cold out there, single digits in the north, teens in and around the city. That snow is moving in, approaching daybreak tomorrow. It's overspreading the region by mid-morning with some moderate and even at times some heavier pockets of snow. Now, that would mean 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates per hour possible with this system. And then as we go through the day, there we go. We're going to watch this storm move in, and we're going to watch that mixing roll in from southwest to northeast as we make our way through the afternoon and evening. And again, that's why we expect those lower totals down the Jersey Shore. Let's take a look at our first alert 7-day forecast now. I'll send it back to Scott.
So much, Vanessa. And yeah, as you talked about it, we have the cold air that is in place. So we're going to be seeing temperatures tonight down to 12 degrees up to 26 for tomorrow. But that happens as we go into the evening hours. Then on Monday, a little bit warmer at 28. But then because of the snowpack in place, even though we have some sunshine, it's going to bounce off of that snowpack. So our morning temperatures in the single digits. And then Allen, 20 on Tuesday, Wednesday, 23. And we hold in the 20s below freezing all the way through the end of the week into next weekend.
20s and single digits as well. All right, Scott and Vanessa, thank you so much. The storm's impact on travel is growing by the hour. Airlines scrapped more than 3,700 flights today, while cancellations for tomorrow have soared to more than 8,200. That's the most cancellations for a single day since the start of the COVID pandemic. Allie Bauman is at Newark Airport with the latest.
Jessica Dem and her kids are leaving New Jersey, taking refuge in Orlando.
We'll come back when it's nice and pretty, but don't want to have to get stuck in the mess now.
Cancellations are piling up as the storm makes its 2,000-mile journey. Atlanta has new equipment that's expected to shave 30 minutes off the time it takes to clear a runway and get flyers off the ground. After arriving in San Francisco, Samaya Brown is already thinking of her trip home to Charlotte, North Carolina on Monday.
I know they putting down that Cajun seasoning for that salt.
And for how the Queen City is prepping, CBS's Dave Malkoff at the airport.
We're on the de-icing pad here with Jeff Hughes. He is at the controls of this de-icing machine. Here's how it works close up. They've got this one hairdryer on here that sprays hot air onto the plane. Then it's helped by this other liquid that kind of breaks up the ice. And then on top of that, they have another goop that they spray onto the plane. This kind of sticks there for about 45 minutes before they take off or have to come back and de-ice all over again.
In New York City, hundreds of garbage trucks will spread 700 million pounds of salt across the city. The first big storm is the first big test for new Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who's looking at past storms to avoid the criticism that plagued his predecessors.
Areas where not enough salt was laid, for example, areas that were overlooked. And we are now going to be addressing those shortcomings in advance of the storm.
And even after the storm passes, the frigid temperatures that follow will likely create even more travel delays and cancellations. Allie Bauman, CBS News, Newark, New Jersey.
And make sure to stick with CBS News New York for the duration of this storm. Our morning show team will have the very latest tomorrow beginning at 6 a.m. And don't forget to send in your snow pictures and videos this weekend, when, of course, it is safe to do so. You can scan the QR code right here or head to cbsnewyork.com/photos. Your footage might end up right here on our air. And that is all we have for the news here at 11. I've still got two of our best meteorologists here with me on the desk, of course. One more thing before we go that our viewers need to know.
We're going to have the snow first, then the sleet on top of that, and messy conditions on the roads,
yeah,
right?
I think the biggest thing is if you want to play in the snow, go out in the first half of the day before the nasty sleet comes in. And then, yes, the roads are just going to be a mess.
And that's like 2 o'clock is when that nasty sleet's coming in. Did I remember that correctly?
Yes, that is a good timing.
All right. Thank you guys so much. You have a great rest of your night. And again, we'll see you in just a couple of hours tomorrow with more coverage.